All right, everyone, welcome back to the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner, and today I have Noah Hammond Tyrrell with us. He is an empowerment and breakthrough coach for entrepreneurs. He empowers entrepreneurs to clarify their next level calling and to move through the inner and outer obstacles to achieve their desires. So welcome, Noah. I'm very excited to have you here, man.
Thanks, Tyler. Great to be here. And hello, everyone listening at home.
And we'll kick it right off. So the first question I have for you, man, is what's the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
So I don't know if this is the best story, but it's probably got the most valuable message in it. Towards the end of 2015, I was struggling immensely to grow my business. I was traveling around the country with, at that time, my fiance, and I was building a business that was going nowhere fast, and our relationship was going nowhere fast, and my business was going nowhere fast, and it all kind of like culminated, boiled over in, a rough breakup and stopping the business efforts. And because we were also traveling around the country and spending most of our time in national parks in a 33-foot RV, it was sort of like my whole life was like a house of cards, so to speak, and it all sort of drove away into the sunset as that chapter ended. And really, the reason why it was the most valuable moment in my life and why I'm sharing it with the audience is because that was the moment where I threw my hands up in surrender, so to speak, and I said, look, God, if this is what all my doing has gotten me, I'm not doing shit until you tell me what to do. And it was a moment where, because before this, I'd already built 7-figure companies before. I'd already reached millions of people online, already sold millions of dollars online. I'd already achieved a lot of results. And I was really good at doing things, being relentless, being unstoppable, being smarter than everybody else, pushing harder than everybody else. And this was the first experience where that didn't cut it. And it was really a transition point and a turning point where I was able to see that there's a different energy available for building businesses, and that my previous businesses were truly built from a space of fear-based hustle. And my future businesses were wanting to be built from a space of divine flow and inspiration, so that I could actually create my greatest life. And so this is a story that I go back to a lot because it was that turning point where I really, it was a painful moment in life, but it was that moment that actually cracked me open to deeper listening, deeper trust, deeper faith, deeper surrender, deeper intuition, which has made my life truly phenomenal from there on forward. So,
no, yeah. I love that, man. Thank you for sharing. And the next question is, what's the most valuable piece of information we should know that's within your expertise or industry?
I think it actually really connects back to the story that I just spoke about, which is that most entrepreneurs don't recognize that they have unknowingly built some of their early successes from fear. I don't want to be tied down. I don't want to be locked in 9 to 5. I don't want to be constrained or confined or held down in some way. And because I don't want that, I'm going to build my freedom. That was how I built my first businesses. I built them straight out of college while finishing my degree in civil engineering, which I knew I didn't want to do. I also simultaneously taught myself online marketing and built some of my first successful businesses. And the single piece of information that I could share is that for most entrepreneurs, especially those who might be listening to this podcast right now, because there's a reason why you're here and there's a reason why you're listening to this, there's a turning point and a transition moment that I call the entrepreneurial breakthrough, which is where you actually shift from building from fear, either knowingly or unknowingly, building from fear, to building it from a space of love. And from there, you can create much more sustainable, much more healthy, much more truly fulfilling results in all areas of your life, not just your business.
And so this might tie in with the next question, but the next one is what's your best piece of overall business advice? So it doesn't have to be like industry specific.
So that would be my best piece of overall business advice. And then my second best piece of advice right now, I think, would be to recognize that it has never been easier before to actually do the doingness of business. The amount of power that is in the average person's hand because of something like Facebook ads is mind-boggling compared to what a corporation had at their disposal with massive budgets even just 10 or 15 years ago. Like, we are in the golden age where the doing has never been simpler, where the information has never been more abundant, where access to the execution has never been easier to achieve. And so my overall advice would be to focus primarily on inner awareness and growth and development, because as you focus inward, when you need an outward thing, when you need a new platform to put your ads on, or when you need to build a funnel, or when you need to get some copy written, or when you need to whatever, the ability to instantaneously access that strategy for effective implementation is right there. There's a course on it, there's a guide on it, there's a book on it, there's a blog post on it, there's a platform that does it, there's something that can automate it for you. It's all out there, and it's never been easier. And so truly the future of being an entrepreneur is not about how much info you can cram in there, because all the info is instantly accessible. It's about who you become as a person, as an entrepreneur, meaning the bearer of risk. Like, to be entrepreneurial means to take on risk, and to take on risk is counter-human intuitive. We are literally not wired for it. We are wired to avoid risk at all possibilities. And so it's so much more about who you are than about what you can do or what you know. And I'm not discounting that what you know and what you can do is important and valuable. It is. It has its time and place. But my overall best piece of advice is to recognize that you are the only limiting factor in your business's ability to succeed and to grow and to change lives.
Yes, that was incredible. If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
If I could give my younger self one piece of advice, I would let him know that he has nothing about himself that he needs to fix. That there's nothing to hustle to try to change about himself because it's broken. That everything that he perceives to be a problem is actually a calling to higher consciousness, and that everything is going to work out. Like, to not need to fear and freak out, and to recognize that there's nothing to fix. It's all actually not just like a woo-woo pie in the sky figurative idea that it's all perfect, but it all actually is perfect. And that as he can learn to embrace that, the reflection of the perfection will be obvious.
And in your opinion, what's the key to happiness?
I think going in theme with every one of my answers, I'd say the key to happiness is awareness. Because truthfully, happiness already exists in this moment. In this present moment, we are connected to all of creation. Time is not linear. There is no past. There is no future. Einsteinian physics and modern physics embraces this, and the yogis and the ancients and the mystics of old all knew this, that there only is now. And so right now there is present happiness, and right now there is present fear, and right now there is present competition, and right now there is present hope, and all of that is here right now. And the only thing that determines whether or not you're experiencing happiness is whether or not you have the conscious control of your awareness and the ability to tune it into where the happiness exists in this moment. That's what all masters of living knew. That's what all masters of living have taught and shown through their actions and through the ways that they are being. Christ was on the cross not having a freak out. He was on the cross blessing those who were crucifying him and asking the Father to forgive them, for they know not what they do. And he was in a perfect state of happiness and harmony, even in what a normal human being would consider a freaking bad moment of life. So that's what the masters came here to show us. And that's the true key to happiness, is to master yourself, to master your awareness, and to recognize that happiness is available to you in every single moment of existence. It's all there all the time.
And what's the best book you've read, and what was the number one thing you learned from that book?
The best book I've ever read is called The Autobiography of a Yogi, and it's written by Paramahansa Yogananda. It's sold millions of copies worldwide. It's changed the lives of millions of people. And the reason why it's the best book I've ever read is because it was the first book I ever read that illuminated me to the true potential of a human being, and to what the yogis and the mystics and the masters teach, and what is possible for a human being in the realm of conscious realization or self-realization or God realization, to know oneself as the creator, as one with who you truly are. Like, this is the first book I ever read that showed me that whole world and totally opened up my perception to what was possible for me.
And what's your favorite quote and why?
I think my favorite quote is when Einstein said that no problem can be solved from the level of consciousness with which it was created. And going along with that, I'll also throw in there when Buckminster Fuller said that, I'm paraphrasing, but it's basically that you don't have to tear down the existing paradigms. You just build new ones that make the old paradigm obsolete. Right? And both of those quotes to me are some of my favorites, even though the second one's a paraphrase, is because I know that right now humanity is looking outward at what we believe to be a whole slew of problems. And it seems like more problems are coming and bubbling to the surface of humanity's awareness every single day. And truthfully, what's happening is humanity is evolving, our consciousness is rising, and all these problems, the solutions already exist. They're just moments away. As humanity rises in consciousness, we will see the new solutions that become readily available, and we'll grab them and we'll implement them. And I think that that's inspiring. I think it's where we're going, and it's the future that I believe in.
Thank you so much for coming on, man. The last question I have is, where can people best find you online?
So people can connect with me at noahhammondterrell.com. You can link out to all my social profiles from there: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I've got a lot of videos up on YouTube and things like that, and I've got some cool PDF downloads and things available on my site. So noahhammondterrell.com is the best place to find out more.
Perfect. Thanks again for coming on, man. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.